Hi there, and my name's Stevie P. I am just wanting to do a guide on this particular, well, it's an optional boss, Leviathan, the earliest possible time that you can encounter him, which is Chapter 13, A Broken Road. I am only level 25, so now I think that most guides that I've seen recommend that you don't even try at this level. And the reason for that is quite understandable. He is a very, very difficult boss to try to take on at this early stage. So the only reason why I'm wanting to do this guide at this stage is because it's kind of nice to get Leviathan early, isn't it? So that's part of it, but it also forces you to really, really think cleverly about how you're using your characters, what mechanics you're choosing to employ, uh, and basically to just understand the mechanics of the game as well as this particular boss. So I think really it's an opportunity for me to kind of make some general points which I think I've made before, but I don't know if it's just unpopular or just that people don't know about them. But on other guides, I haven't seen it. Some of these things really highlighted that, to my mind, are really important to understand if you want, I think, just a bit more of an enjoyable time in the game, but also being able to actually win your fights in a way that's fairly easy. So I'll say it again. I've said it previously. Cloud is good against many enemies. If you have one target, Tifa. I mean, that's as simple as I can put it. He simply cannot, doesn't matter how much you amp him up. I mean, well, I don't know if this is true. Certainly at this stage, though, there's no way, even with his hard edge weapon, which you can put a lot of attack plus on that, you just cannot match Tifa for damage output against a single target. Not when you know how to use unbridled strength and increase her chi level, and certainly not when the enemy is staggered, unless Cloud happens to have two full ATB and also has time to use Infinity's End, which can compete with Tifa for how much damage he does to a staggered enemy. But that's not always something that you can accomplish. Whereas with Tifa, they can start staggered and she's at chi level 3 ready to dish out huge amounts of punishment. So Tifa is your gal for attacking single target enemies, also because her attacks are just much, much quicker. It's more DPS, damage per second. And in this particular case, especially if you equip lightning to elemental, she's going to be building up the pressure against Leviathan. Now, because we are at a low level, doesn't matter how much you put onto their attack and strength, we're not going to do enough damage to actually move Leviathan into a pressurized state. Even if you understand the mechanics and exploit those mechanics as to how Leviathan works, you're not going to be able to actually put Leviathan into a pressurized state. So that's just something that we have to accept. All we have to do is stagger Leviathan by damaging it and putting pressure in the normal way. Now, when I say in the normal way, there's two ways of putting pressure on an enemy. Well, three, I suppose. One is if there's a particular mechanic where if you do a particular thing, it puts pressure on them because they're vulnerable in that moment. So that's specific to the enemy. Then there's two which kind of put pressure as a general rule. So the one is when they do not have the word pressured under the pressure gauge. When they are, and that's what I refer to as being in a pressurized state. So if they have the word pressured under the pressure gauge, that is when you want to use their focus abilities. Focus thrust for Cloud, focus strike for Tifa, and focus shot for Barret. That will then rapidly fill the pressure gauge, which I think is referred to by a lot of people as the stagger gauge or the stagger bar, and it is referred to like that in the game as well. If you read up the guides, but I like to think of it as the pressure gauge because the stagger gauge to me is the thing that is running out whilst they're staggered, that shows you how much time you've got left whilst they remain staggered. So anyway, it's a nitpicky point, but I call it the pressure gauge. So it fills up when they're not actually in a pressurized state. Just use your normal attacks. So that's things like dive kick, overpower for Tifa, or braver with Cloud, because they will still apply pressure. Equivalent, I think, about the same amount as if you were to use the focused abilities, but they also just do more damage. So as long as they're not in a pressurized state, you want to use dive kick, overpower, and you want to use braver with Cloud, but you want to kind of not use their focus abilities. You want to save that for when they're actually in a pressurized state. So I hope that makes sense. Perhaps with other guides, I'll be able to show you exactly what I mean by that. But for now, let me just dive into a little bit more of the specific setup that I've got for them. So I've already mentioned Lightning with Elemental for Tifa, and then I've got a Luck Up just to increase her critical chance rate. I've got some healing ability on her, and then parry, which is really essential. And I don't really use refocus. I've just got it on her because I had that from the previous build, but you don't need that in particular. And then with Barret, Barrier is important, not because of the Barrier spell. I've seen some people saying use Barrier when Leviathan does his Tidal Wave attack. Please don't. That will do absolutely nothing. Use Mana Ward because Tidal Wave is actually a magically based attack. So you want to have Barrier for one point in the battle, hopefully only the one time that he might use Tidal Wave. Although I have done run-throughs with this strategy where he doesn't get the chance because I don't give it to him. And then Revival, you will want that because if he does use Tidal Wave with this particular strategy, there's no way avoiding one of your party members going down. I have tried different strategies where the party members don't go down, but it comes at the cost of healing because I've got healing with Magnify on Cloud. So you can, it's a toss-up really. At this stage in the game, if you're wanting to get Leviathan as soon as possible, you will only have one Magnify materia. So you have to choose Magnify with healing or Magnify with barrier. Magnify with healing is just better because you can do more healing throughout the fight. And you can keep yourselves critically at a level of health that you can stand, at least two of your characters can stand Tidal Wave for certain. If you don't have that, then each of them need to be healing separately. And I just find that overall, on balance, it's the better decision to put Magnify with healing and then just to have Barrier so that Barret can cast Mana Ward on Cloud. And then ideally, you want Barret to also be able to do Steel Skin on himself, which kind of does the same thing as Mana Ward, really. And then these two will stay alive. And then if Tifa goes down, you can use Revival, and then you can use the powerful healing to bring them back up to the health that you want them to be at. So I've only got Cura. I do not have Curaga yet, but that's okay. You can get away with just Cura if you use this strategy. So there you go. That is the current build that I've got on them. So without further ado, let's actually jump into the battle. I love Chadley, but he does talk a lot, doesn't he? Just fine when you're going in and out of the battle. I'm having to shut him up an awful lot. Okay, so start with Tifa as the leader. And yeah, run in. He's going to do Briny Bellow. He either does this or Briny Barrage, two very similar moves. You'll see them both in this battle. Briny Bellow is like a laser beam from his face, and you want to dodge to the right, and you want to get up close to him. Because up close, he won't be able to hit you with Briny Bellow, and I am using parry so that she can move quickly, but also in case the lightning beam or whatever beam hits her, it will not damage her as much because she's blocking. So up close and start to do some attacking. Unbridled Strength to start to build up her chi. Continue to attack. Gaia Spume is an ability where he creates this kind of vacuum on the ground around him. With parry, you can just get out of the way nice and easy. Now I'm going to jump over to Barret to use his overcharge ability. The purpose of which is just to build up some ATB. It didn't actually build up a lot, I think. I should have been targeting Leviathan's head. So there's Leviathan's head and the dorsal fin. Leviathan's head is probably better for Barret to be hitting, whereas the dorsal fin is better for Cloud and Tifa since they are melee and up close. Okay, so what I'm going to do with Barret right now is this ability, Lifesaver. It's quite a broken ability. It just means that any damage that Cloud or Tifa takes will be halved, and Barret would take it instead. And with and because he's the tank with extra HP, it's just a nice thing. It's a good idea. Okay, tail whip, exactly as it sounds. He just kind of whips around. And I didn't actually dodge it, but it doesn't do too much damage if you're blocking. So it's absolutely fine. Jump back in, attack, attack. Okay, so he goes into the ground and appears at the other end. Now, at the beginning of the fight, that's what he always does. He'll go into the ground and then appear at the other end. It's a little bit annoying, but it's nothing that is too terrible. Okay, so Briny Barrage. I should have actually stopped it there. He basically conjures these 6 balls that appear in the air, these orbs, if you want, that he then launches towards you, and you just kind of dodge towards the right and forward with Tifa, and you'll be able to easily dodge out of the way. So I'll try and sort of pause it at a more convenient time for you next time. Okay. So that's the Gaia Spume, or whatever it's called, which is the vacuum on the ground. So I'd like to just point out right now, look how much pressure has built up relative to how much damage we've done. In this fight, the goal, because you just can't do enough damage at this low level, the goal is to build up pressure. And that's why I've looked so much into what abilities do you use? Do you use focus thrusts, focus strike, focus shot? And the conclusion I've found is no. Use overpower, dive kick, and braver. That's going to build up the pressure. However, I'm not using braver really because I want Cloud to also double as a healer. So he's in there attacking, but really, yeah, I want him to have as much ATB as possible. As a general rule, I try to have Cloud and Barret with 1 ATB spare. And that's important for times like right now, when he does this move called Spinning Dive, where I've moved Barret as much as I could to the left, so he'll dive at whoever you've got selected. And this is a good time to do Steel Skin to reduce the damage by 33%. So he's taken less damage. Now sometimes Leviathan will do 2 of these. And I mean 600 damage is still quite a bit of damage. So I think it's time probably for Cloud to do a Cure. We'll do Cura, and that will heal both of them. Both Cloud and Barret. So now we're just going to look out to see, is he going to do it again or is he only doing 1? Okay, he's only doing 1. That's good news for us. But we would easily, with this strategy, be able to handle 2. We just need to do a little bit more healing. Okay, so Aquatic Focus is nothing to worry about. It doesn't actually do anything. However, it is a little bit scary because what it actually is, it's a precursor to his main move, which is Tidal Wave. Once he's done Aquatic Focus, you know that Tidal Wave is on the table. It's still RNG, so it's not 100% guaranteed when he's going to do it, but it means that now, from now on, we've got to be ready that Tidal Wave could happen. So, but it takes quite a while for him to do Aquatic Focus, so it's a great chance to use Tifa to basically pressurize. Going to use Overpower. She finishes her routine. That's the thing about Overpower, it does not interrupt her attacking routine. And this is again a reason why she's so much preferable to Cloud, because by the time on Chi level 3, her attack routine is much longer. It finishes with this move that she's just done, which is a punch on the ground that does damage that Cloud cannot compete with. And Overpower enables her to get to the end of that routine. And now I'm just going to use a normal attack, dive kick attack against him. And I'm going to leave Cloud with his ATB because I want it to be spare because he might need it. Like I say, it's just a good idea to try to keep Cloud with as much ATB as possible. Cloud and Barret. Okay, she's going to keep attacking. Yeah, so I didn't mind her taking some extra damage there. The only reason is because I'm wanting to apply as much pressure as possible. So this is something that you just have to kind of feel it for yourself as to what you prefer. I chose for her to take damage because it's a good opportunity while she's hitting his face to basically just put the extra pressure on. But you don't have to do that. You can simply dodge out of the way, which is what I generally do. Okay, Overpower, let her finish her routine. Haha, he was out of the way just before she could do her punch on the ground. Now you see that kind of whirlpool appearing? He does this thing where he goes underground, and then you gotta just watch out to see where is he gonna appear from and where is he going to. So where are the whirlpools on the ground? Ooh, there it is. Then you make sure that you're just kind of dodging alongside. Okay, then he reappears. I feel like any moment he might do Tidal Wave. So I'm just checking our health and I think we're okay. What I might do, just because we've got the ATB free, is with Cloud, is I might just do a little cure, not a big cure, because you're wanting to be careful with your use of MP. So I might just do a little cure on Barret. Now let's attack his face if we can. No, okay, I think he's going outside. Okay, that means that we want to get back to Barret and steel skin it up. And then block. So we could take that hit. That is not too much of a problem. But I am going to start to use Tifa to do some clearing, some healing. And I think, might he do another one? I think we might be okay. Yeah, I think we're okay. Okay, there we go. So, he's very pressurized right now, which is a good thing. He's doing another aquatic focus. I think we're a little bit lucky. Usually by now, I reckon, he would have done... He could have done Tidal Wave, but he's not. He's doing Aquatic Focus, which basically is a guarantee that we'll be able to stagger him. He's going to be staggered by the end of this. Yeah, there we go. So he goes down. So it is a little bit RNG. I did another run through where he just used Tidal Wave quite a lot, and there was nothing that you could do to stop it. But still won, because I feel like this is a really strong strategy. So now that he's staggered, Chi level 3, well, she's actually gone down a Chi level, but that's okay. She had ATB. Just get her back up to Chi level 3. Now what I might do, if we've got time, see if we can actually... Ooh, it's a close call. Have we got time for Infinity's End? Probably not, but let's just be adventurous. Okay, and she's going to use Omni Strike. Yeah, she got to use Omni Strike twice. Can she uppercut? Yes, she can uppercut. So the uppercut just gives her some extra ATB, which is nice. Okay, so we did a decent amount of damage there while he was staggered, and now we're moving into the next phase. So in this next phase, you want to be in control of Barret. What I will do though is a quick heal on Cloud. Now you want Barret to target the head. Wait till he stops spinning. Okay. And then what you want to do here is focused shot. So I mentioned at the beginning there's 3 different ways of building pressure. So 2 of them is, well, it is general. So when they are in a pressurized state, you want to use their focused abilities. When they're not in a pressurized state, you want to use their normal abilities, their normal command attack abilities. But then there are also times when there's mechanics specific to the enemy, unique to that enemy, where you can pressurize them. And in this case, focused shot actually works to build significant pressure on Leviathan while he's in the air. So that's why we're doing that right now. Normally we wouldn't do that, and it would be a pointless exercise. The other thing to just be a bit wary of is the wings will block your attacks. So I use overcharge just to build up his ATB, but then when you do focus shot, you want to have line of sight. And now all of this you want to do quite quickly, because if you wait too long, then he'll do his spinning dive attack. And once again, that's very, very unpleasant. I think I mentioned this tip in a previous guide, but every now and again he has to recharge, and if you tap that button for the special attack ability, which for me is E, which would be overcharge for Barret. If it's not charged up, it will actually charge up while he is reloading. So it's just a good opportunity to do it. Okay, so I think we're basically there now. I'm going to quickly jump over to Tifa just to check. Yeah, she's on Chi level 2, not Chi level 3. We want her Chi level 3. Let's use Unbridled Strength. Now Barret can use Overcharge. The guy's any second now, right? Any second now. He's staggered. There we go. He's staggered. So, let's jump over to Tifa. And now we get to use her all Chi abilities. So, I don't think... While she's doing that, let's try to just double up. Yes, I think we've got time for Infinity's End. Excellent. We want to use Infinity's End with Cloud. Jump back to Tifa. Barret, I'm just leaving because I like him having 2 ATB in the event that Leviathan does use Tidal Wave. Okay, so we do another Omni Strike. Chi, and then Omni Strike again. Look at on the, you can see the red, how much damage we've done. So both times, so we've done almost, I think just almost a third, maybe not, a bit less, a quarter damage to his health. So it's a significant amount of damage that we are doing, which is good to see. Okay, she's going to go back up to Chi level 2. Where is he going to reappear? There he reappears. Briny Barrage. Throws those orbs. We got hit by one. It's not the end of the world. And she runs. Grimy or Grind Spune. It's fine. Get her to Chi level 3. Tail Whip. Dodge out of the way. He goes down under and reappears right here, which is fine. I kind of hope that he does use Tidal Wave. There we go. Because I like to just show you what we're to do now. So this is why it's good to have Barret at Chi level 2. What? 2 ATB. It's late, I'm tired, and I'm multitasking. Okay. So you want, and you'll see why. So first of all, she's now going to just cure. Who's she going to cure? Let's cure Cloud. They will both survive this. Yeah, she'll cure Cloud. Jump back over to him. He's going to do 2 things. He's going to put Mana Ward on Cloud, which means Cloud will survive. Now he's going to quickly use Overcharge, build up that ATB. Now Steel Skin. Now block. That is the routine that you want to use when he uses Tidal Wave. So it looks terrible, doesn't it? But it's actually fine. Like, we will definitely survive this. And the great thing is, look, they've got... It's limit break galore, you know? So it's absolutely fine. We're going to use Raise on Tifa. Jump over to Cloud. So we want to jump over to Cloud as quickly as possible because he's got more health. And there's a gap here, which I don't know if the programmers designed it this way, but it's a gap of pure bliss because it gives us time to do things. So I've got parry on Cloud as well, and it does come in handy, as you've seen just now. Okay, so we've got 2 limit breaks on the ready. All we need to do now is pressurize him. Now, it's extremely rare that he'll use Tidal Wave again. I think even if he does, we may well be okay. This, by the way, this strategy now, I never lose a fight against him. It is, to my mind, the strategy to be using. I wasn't paying attention because I was busy boasting. I should have used Unbridled Strength there, just because it helps to put the pressure on. Okay, Cloud is just going to do a bunch of powerful healing. And I think, in fact, let's also get Barret. Shall I? No, I think I won't, actually. We need his MP just in case. Just in case. Okay. Wait for him to reappear. He reappears at the other end. Almost feels like just we're back to the beginning of the battle. It's a very, very similar kind of... She'll do Unbridled Strength. She's now at Chi 3, which is great. Keep attacking, attacking, attacking. Just do loads. Put loads of pressure on. Okay, Barret. Steel Skin. And block. 600 damage, but it's okay. Now he might go twice this time. Let's see if he does. No, okay, he's not gone twice, which is fine by me. Jump back over to Tifa. So we're now at the stage of just wanting to do as much damage as we possibly can. Attack. I'm going to do overpower, let her finish her routine. Do a dive kick. Continue to attack, and he's going to be staggered in a second now. There we go, down he goes. Okay, it's the end. We got 3 limit breaks, and we didn't even need her at chi level 3. It does feel, when you're watching this, I can imagine you thinking this is quite close to the wire, but genuinely, you just don't lose with this strategy. It just doesn't. I haven't had a time that I've lost using this. So, somersault. Let's use all of their limit breaks just for fun and watch the end. Boom, 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 boom. Victory. There we go. Who would have thought, indeed. So, how do you summarize that? So at several points, I think one thing that we didn't see is when he does his spinning dive attack twice. We did have, particularly with Cloud, I don't know if you remember, quite a lot of MP left. So you could be thinking, well, but surely that would have been the end if you'd have had 2 of those spinning dive attacks. But not really, because when that happens, and that does happen in other run-throughs, Cloud does have enough MP to be able to do mass healing or focus the healing in on Barret. Because if Barret's using Lifesaver, then he just takes most of the damage, but then that just means you can focus your healing on Barret, so it's really useful. I think you basically saw everything else. This is a way to beat Leviathan at really low level. I think it's just important to kind of recognize their strengths. Cloud is good against multiple enemies. I hope I come up against a battle where he's my main guy, because all of them so far, Tifa seems to be stealing his thunder a little bit, but it's just because she's so good against single target enemies, which is what this fight was all about. So I think you got to see basically everything that he does, how to dodge them. Again, with Tifa, with parry, you just dodge around. All of his briny attacks, the briny barrage and the briny, whatever it is, the laser beam that he shoots out, and that vacuum that he puts on the floor. You can dodge all of those things with Tifa, which is really great. So hopefully you learned a few things, but by all means, let me know if you found that helpful or otherwise. And thank you very much for your time.